Way! Hello, my friends, my beautiful friends. I have many of them in this beautiful town of Morecambe. Before the podcast starts, I just want to say that not all of the Ady family are like me. They're quite well adjusted and thankfully sensible. Then there's me. So, if you're easily offended, you're not going to like this podcast. But if you're from the rock and roll school, heavy metal, sex, drugs and rock and roll, you're going to love it. So stick with it. Thank you very much. And all the best to all my family, and no offence to the Ady name in any way.
Ady, wake up. Wake up, Ady. It's time for the interview. Come on, Ady, wake up. Ady, wake up. Wake up, Ady. It's time for the interview. Come on, Ady, wake up. It's time for the interview. It's time for the interview. It's time for the interview. It's time for the interview.
Time for the interview, Ady.
Ady, wake up. Wake up, Ady. It's time for the interview. Ady, wake up. Wake up, Ady. It's time for the interview.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, the man has finally woke up for the long-awaited interview. It's Ady. Ady, tell us where it all began.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be with you, JD,
And you, sir?
A pleasure, and also I've filming Al Robbins.
Yes.
Superb.
Used to work for the BBC.
Aye. So where did it all begin? Well,
Yeah, your early life, where were you born? You know, where'd you hail from?
Lochwinnock in Renfrewshire in Scotland, about 20 miles from Glasgow, it was a little village, you know, and nothing much to do really, you know, but I used to go on the loch, along the ice when it was winter time, you know, and we didn't bother about things like health and safety in them fucking days, you know. I mean, I bet my mum and dad hoped that I fucking fell in, you know. I was a fucking nightmare from day one. And when I was 2 years old, if I didn't get my own way, then I used to hold my breath till I got blue in the face.
What, like having a convulsion for attention?
Right, but the thing was that my mum went to the doctors and she said, I'm so worried about him because he passes out on the floor, he's gone blue, And he said, well, basically, he's a spoilt bastard. And the way to deal with him is don't pay any attention, because as soon as he passes out, he breathes completely normally again.
Yeah.
Don't give him his own way. And so I've been doing that now for the last 59 years. If I don't get my own way, I don't fucking like it, you know. But there you go.
As a kid then, growing up in Scotland, okay, did you have siblings?
One sister.
Yeah.
I was born in a house on the high street in Lochwinnock. Moved on to Crookhill Gardens in Lochwinnock, and then my mum and dad split up, and I moved to Morecambe.
Yeah.
Because what we used to do, we used to holiday in Morecambe. We used to come to Morecambe
Right, okay.
on a regular basis when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then mum and my sister and I, we came and we lived in a caravan in what was then the municipal caravan park on Westgate, which is now whatever it's called.
Yeah. Going back to your earlier life, Ady, can you tell us a bit what your schooling was like?
But they shouldn't have put me to school. I was unschoolable.
Really?
You know, yeah, I was just school to me was a complete fucking waste of time. You know, I was scatterbrained. I didn't want to learn. I wasn't interested in anything. And I thought it was just, and even as a youngster, I wanted to be like, I liked the attention of a performer.
Right.
You know, so in the 1960s, when I was in infant school in Lochwinnock, I used to pretend I was Gigantor. Gigantor was a space-age robot.
Right, okay.
And I used to fly along like that with his fist in the air.
Yeah.
And I used to go around the schoolyard like that, but everybody who got in my way, they'd get punched. You know, and and a little fucker I was. And then
did you not get kicked out of school though?
no, but they used to give you in Scotland what was called the strap. And it was like
this has been mentioned on a previous podcast actually by a couple of Scottish lads, Jim Anderson and Jimmy Ewing.
I got the strap on a regular basis, and it was like a snake. It was like a prong, like a like a whack over your hand, like, you know. And kids were laughing when I got it, like, you know, but you know, and that was how it was. But you see, I never. And throughout my schooling, I never resented the fact that I'd been punished in that way, because I knew I was a little cunt.
Right, so you knew it, yeah. So you accepted the punishment kind of thing, yeah.
Absolutely, not like these twats today.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I accepted, you know, that I was very, very disruptive throughout all my school. I was in the naughty boys class when I got to Morecambe. And what I'd like to say about coming to Morecambe is I loved, and I still do, this town. You know, the beautiful views over the bay, scenic. And the first person that I met when I went to school in Morecambe at Euston Road, which was a bit of a rough old school, was Kirky.
That's Mark Johnson, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And nobody could understand what I was saying because it was all gibberish to them.
Did you have the Scottish accent then?
Oh, hell aye. Yeah, you're too right, yeah. But Kirky said, I'll hang out with you, lad, you know, and that was our lifelong friendship.
Yeah, that's good.
And it was a brilliant, you know, it was just brilliant to meet somebody who was connected. And what I liked about school here, and when I used to go back to Scotland to visit my friends, and my accent, I deliberately kind of changed my accent because nobody could tell what I was saying.
Yeah. Plus to fit in as well, so you didn't get bullied and all that.
Plus to fit in, yeah. Plus to fit in, because nobody could tell what I was fucking on about, you know. And
still can't now, Ady, but carry on.
Yeah. So it was, yeah. I mean, we were piss poor. We lived in a caravan.
So that's where you spent, when you moved to Morecambe, you said previously that you moved into a caravan on Westgate.
Yeah.
How long did you spend there?
Well, we spent the summers there, and then we moved to the West End in a flat for the winter, and back to the caravan park, right next to the gasometer.
Yes, I know where you're at, exactly. Yeah,
Right. It didn't have no bog, no toilet, no running water, no bloody lights, no electric or anything. Right, candles we had.
Yeah.
Right, Mum didn't have a pot to piss in. She was working at the Broadway Hotel, and if you wanted to go for a piss or a shower or whatever, you had to go to the bogs, freezing cold stone bogs.
Where they was like shared between everyone on the side.
And then they had water. You had to fill up a bucket of water and bring it in, like, you know, if you wanted like your cups of tea and what, and put it on the gas, can of gas.
Calagas, yeah.
Right, piss poor. I've got a pot to piss in, and that was my upbringing. You see, so really, you know. When I used to fantasize about things, you know, and
what, like
music,
living in a lovely house and music and being on stage, sort of thing, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you left Euston Road, which is now Morecambe Bay Primary School, still there, where did you go to high school?
Morecambe High had just turned from a grammar school into a comprehensive.
Had it, right, so you went to Morecambe High, yeah.
Yeah, and...
what was that like? Was it no different from primary school?
It was a higher class school, obviously, compared to what we were used to, you know, but I was unteachable. They should have never put me in school in the first place. I learnt fuck all. I was a rebel.
So, your time in London, Ady, why did you move there? What took you to London?
I moved for the heavy metal scene because I'd been to see Ted Nugent at the Hammersmith Odeon in '79 May, and there was this resurgence of heavy metal, the new wave of British heavy metal, all these great new bands coming out, playing all over London in smaller venues like Iron Maiden. I seen Iron Maiden in the Ruskin Arms, a little pub in East Ham, was it? Yeah, whatever.
West or East Ham, yeah.
I wanted to, and then bloody there was like Angel Witch and Saxon and Def Leppard and all them lot, and yeah, it was a great time. And
did you get into any scrapes down in London you could tell us about? Was there any stories?
Well, I became. I used to go to the heavy metal sound house, which was at Kingsbury Circle. It was actually called the Bandwagon in the pub, but the heavy metal sound house. And Neil Kay was a DJ, fantastic DJ, and it was all the new stuff that he used to play that introduced people to all these fantastic bands, you know that were just coming out of London at that time. And I became there was many good headbangers, but I became headbanger of the year in 1981.
Did you get an award for it? Did you get a trophy?
I got to meet AC/DC. I got to meet Angus Young, but I actually only got to meet Angus and Phil Rudd because Bon was off shagging somebody else, and my Highway to Hell tour book from 1980 has got. They used to call me Superloon in London at the time because I was a bit lunatic. Superloon, and I got the
Loon of the Year.
Yeah, Loon of the Year, yeah. And when I came back to Morecambe, you know, on one drunken night, I decided with my friends that we should all jump off the pier, the central pier in Morecambe, and which was, not quite the normal thing that you would do on a November night in fucking freezing cold. But off I went, and Jack and Kirky were with me, and they were just laughing their heads off, and I landed in the water. And then...
So the tide was in then?
The tide was going out. So no matter how fast I was trying to swim in, I was like, fucking this. Right? And I was going further out. And the lifeboats got called out. Carol Bailey, my old school chum, she was a top swimmer in Morecambe High. She jumped off the fucking pier and tried to rescue me. Actually, she did to a degree. We got on the lifeboat and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I was going back to London the very next morning, very early. Carol got lifted for it because for costing the lifeboats a lot of money. But my mum said to the police, well, he's gone back to London. I don't know where he is. And
that was it.
Well, yeah, because they didn't want they didn't want the hassle of having to bloody chase it up down London, you know. But it was a great time. It was a marvellous time, and
nearly drowning.
Well, when I first when Bon Scott died from AC/DC. It was a tragic moment. I always remember I was working for Burton's and Taylor's at the time.
In London?
It was a Welwyn Garden City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go all around the north of London. I was relief manager. And they give him about that much space, tiny little bit. Bon Scott, AC/DC singer, dies.
Was he not
in the Daily Mirror?
He up in a car or something outside his hotel or his house.
He choked on his own vomit.
Choked on his own vomit, didn't he?
Choked on his own vomit. Yeah. And I thought, fuck it, I can't do without it, Bon. I can't do without him. And I went out that night, and I went to a pub, a rockers pub, which was right across the road from White Hart Lane. Where Tottenham, right across from the Tottenham ground, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to drink myself to death. I'm going to go out on the highway with a bomb. Fucking
highway to hell.
Yeah. And I put a suicide note in for my mum and dad in my pocket, and said, sorry, mum and dad, but I'm going to drink. I'm on the highway with a bomb, right? And then next thing I know, this couple walk in that I know, Antonina, fucking Italian girl, and her boyfriend Nigel, and they bring this lovely bird in, Alison, with them.
Right.
And she comes up to me at the bar, and Antonina introduces me. She said, "This is Superloon." And I said, hello, who are you? And she said, I'm Alison. She said, I said, all right. She said, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm drinking myself to death.
No.
I said, because Bon Scott's died, AC/DC. And she said, oh, you like AC/DC? I said, fucking right, I said, Bon's gone, I'm going to go on the highway with Bon. And she says, well, if you don't commit suicide, you can fuck me. Yeah.
So that saved your life. The promise of a fuck saved your life, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But what we did was, I didn't actually fuck her that night. We went into a graveyard, and she still had a school not a school uniform. It was like a school jacket on.
Yeah.
And I spunked over the the bloody school uniform like, and my mum had to wash it the next day.
Who says romance is dead?
Exactly.
And that's how I met. And
Was that your first wife?
I married her, yeah.
Being at
married
high
her.
school lady.
Yeah.
Now, most people in Morecambe know you as an entertainer. Probably the best in the town. So what were your early musical influences?
Well, the first time I went on stage was 1969, before I had really had any musical influences. It was with my sister sat on a knee at the Harbour Band Arena, Harold Graham on the organ, Cinderella Rockefeller. And and as a result of that we won, and I got lots of crisps and rock and sweets and stuff and crisps, and I was fucking addicted. See, I loved that attention. I loved being on stage.
Yeah.
And that was 1969. And then come the early 70s, you know, I'm 71, 72, I'm 10, 11 years old, and 11 years old, and then there's all these great bands come out.
Like?
T-Rex, Slade, Gary Glitter, you know, Alice Cooper. When Alice Cooper wrote Schools Out in 72, that's what got me into the harder side of rock.
Yeah.
You know, apart from I love the glam, but I like that harder edge. And I hated school, and I wanted to blow the fucking school up. So when it said school's been blown to pieces, I thought, fucking hell, that'll do for me. You know, and then, lo and behold, you know, Elected and all them classics of Alice. And I still go to see him to this day. I was there at the concert last year. But, so basically, the glam rock and the heavier side of the
then
glam
you got
rock.
heavier after that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I got, you know, there was Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, and then when I heard Kiss Alive in 1975, I thought, fucking hell, what the fuck is this? You know, it was awesome. And then, of course, by then, I'd started with my great friend David Sidney Harrison. We went to the Harbour Band Arena and made our debut in 1975 doing a glitter band song called Goodbye My Love. And then we progressed from there and formed a band called Renegade, which was David Harrison, Fred Harrison, his brother, Michael Thompson on the drums, Dave Wright on the keyboard, and me singing.
These were all local lads from Morecambe, were they?
All local lads, yeah. And we started playing all around the area, and we were on at the Broadway Hotel. Well, I started on the piss when I was 1975. You know, drinking. I was 14, and we were going into these venues. I had a bit of bum fluff because it was dark. I had a bit of bum fluff, you know, and we were going into the Broadway Hotel play. We were all underage, you know. So there was Renegade. There was other bands at the time that were there. Bugsy, which had Bernie Kelly on the drums, good band. Anniversary, Johnny and Peter Pulowski. There was Juno's Claw with John Bibby on the drums, brilliant. There was...
so these were all local bands from Morecambe?
Our band, Renegade.
Yeah,
Renegade. Yeah. Son of a Bitch, who became Saxon. Yeah, they were on the rota. So we used to do this rota.
Was Mick Jackson not part of Saxon?
No, he was never in Saxon. He was in Satan.
Satan, all right.
Now, Satan's claim to fame was that the very, very first Dynamo Festival which is held every year in Holland, Satan were the very first band on of the very first festival. And they were a very, very good heavy metal band, very, very good, excellent. Jacko had a great voice, you know. And then subsequently they changed the name to Pariah, and then Jacko left the band after a lot of it was disillusioning, like they weren't getting anywhere, you know, one thing and another. So the back end of the 80s, Jacko quit, but Satan, as they were before Jacko took the vocal jobs on, reformed and went on to do great. They're doing good. They've made about 2 or 3 albums now, and they're touring around Europe with supporting Iron Maiden.
Okay, we're getting back to you because this is your podcast. You're the main man. So in the 70s, you were in bands with your mates, local lads. When did you start going solo? Where did things go wrong? Or
No. I left and went to London. In '79, and it was the beginning of a great time for heavy metal fans. It was a new wave of British heavy metal, and all these new bands were starting.
Can you name some, just for people who maybe don't know?
Well, back in them days, it was like the major new up and coming band was Iron Maiden in London.
Iron Maiden, yeah.
But prior to that, I mean, going back to more like the mid-70s, AC/DC.
Yes.
I mean, a band that,
the best.
To me, are the best band ever.
I agree.
You know, and you know, to see them live. The first time I seen them was on the Let There Be Rock tour, 1977. I'd seen them on the Old Grey Whistle Test in '76.
Yeah.
Doing Problem Child for my gig, and I thought, fucking hell, what the fuck is this? So when I went out and bought Dirty Deeds, and then I got Let There Be Rock in '77, and I went out and I seen them at Lancaster University Great Hall in '77.
Yes. My mother and father were there. Yeah.
It was immense.
Yeah.
Right, and that was before the days of all this fucking stupid health and safety shit.
Yeah.
This is when the bass used to go poof on his chest like that, poof, and you had tinnitus for 2 or 3 days afterwards. You couldn't hear fuck all. Right, that was a rock concert before health and safety stepped in and fucked it all up.
Well, it was a massive play at the time, Lancaster University. I think every great band in the world has played there, haven't they?
Too right. You had
T-Rex too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You had the Climax Blues Band, supported by Dire Straits.
Yes. Mark Knopfler and the lads, they played there. People forget that. Tina Turner was there, Rod Stewart.
They had them all.
Queen were there. They were all there. Yeah. As you said, AC,
Motorhead, UFO, Judas Priest. You know, Barry Lucas was running at the time, and we all salute Barry because he did a fantastic job, and he was a wonderful live music lover, you know, and he brought the very best of the best into the Great Hall at the Uni in Lancaster. You know, it was momentous times. It was a wonderful time.
I think a lot of bands have...
I seen AC/DC for 75 pence. In 1977.